It's another episode of the Jeff Dubay Show. We're throwing it back. Old school bump. We go back to the start. To steal words from Coldplay. We got Darryl Sorensen in. He was here for the first show. Not here. I mean, he was a devil's advocate for our first show, which is more than I could say for Johnny Come Lately Montgomery, or this fine equipment that is now taking the place of the stuff that we attempted to launch a network with. Oh, the meager beginnings of the Alive and Social, way back in the day, way back in September, when it was just me, Sean Bernard, and some really horseshit equipment, and whoever we could get to sit in the sidekick seat and pass the microphone back and forth like it's a roach.
I waited till they had toys to show up.
Yeah, not Darryl. Darryl, you gutted it out. You showed up for the first show, and you and I had to share a microphone because we just weren't. I don't know. I don't want to. I'm not trying to be critical. I mean, the equipment was fine to me, but then the show would start when we only have one microphone. I mean, now it's first rate. I mean, now it's NASA in here. I mean, look at this. It's like a. It's a space shuttle control launch center in here. I mean, it's pretty high tech. I mean, it's
looking good. It's looking good.
I mean, it's good enough. It's good enough. It's good. I mean, have you? I bet you haven't gone back, did you, Jason? Because you don't give a shit about anything that didn't happen when you're not here. Did you ever go back and listen just like for 5 minutes of those first 3 shows?
I haven't actually. Just to hear the sound.
They're all horseshit for different reasons. The first one because we had to pass a microphone back and forth, and Darryl was terrible. I'm kidding you, Darryl. The second one was terrible because I didn't get a guest, and we didn't have commercials, and I had to talk without a producer. 60 minutes. I took like 3 breaths. I mean, it was horrible. It was.
Dance.
When it was over, I was soaked in sweat, and it was exhausting. And it had to be even more exhausting to listen to. It was just me ranting about Adrian Peterson, and it was nonsensical, and it repeated itself over and over. I mean, it was the fill of all fills. And then the third one.
Now I have to go back. That would actually be entertaining.
Oh my God!
I think
it'd be embarrassing. But yeah, it probably would be funny for other reasons. I don't remember why the third show sucked, but by like the end of the week, or the start of the next week, we were starting to get it down. And anyway, but welcome to the show, Darryl, and thanks for another last minute perfect pop in. I mean, he just happened to. Yeah, seriously, I'm not going to book guests anymore because they just fall from the sky. I don't even need to set stuff up anymore. I mean, I didn't have a guest today, and I thought I could make some calls. I thought, screw it, I don't need to. And then Darryl, I should have thought of having you on last Wednesday because you did the first show. Then you should have done the first show from here. You're going to talk at some point, right?
Yes, I will talk. And it was a hell of a run at 4:00 that first show.
Oh, that's right. You did the 4:00. I forgot we had a 4:00 show. Yeah.
Still happy hour at least though. So
but no, it sucked though because parking gets cheap downtown at 4:00.
Oh.
So we needed the 4:00. We needed that hour buffer.
Yep.
So we needed the 5:00 show because that's when all those lots go to $3 or $5 or whatever. I mean, depending on which one you're pulling into, which envelope you're stuffing into which box, and that's not a dirty comment.
Yes,
a little bit.
But do you even remember what we talked about the first show, Darryl? Because I don't.
Yeah, spanking porn.
Oh, we did talk about spanking. Really?
It was all about AP and the spanking.
Oh, spanking. Oh, God,
wow.
You scared me. You scared me.
I thought you were going somewhere else there.
Yeah, I mean, that would not have been a way to launch the show. And especially, I'm not a spanking fetish guy. I mean, I watch some porn. I'm not gonna lie to you, but it rarely. No, not rarely. It never involves violence towards women or any gender.
You only said I'm not a spanking fetish guy, though. You didn't say you're not a spanking guy.
No. I'm not into any form of naked violence.
All right.
Now, it was all about AP, and then why couldn't we beat TCU, which turned out, well, we know why, because TCU was damn good.
Yeah, we just kept giving the ball away. But nonetheless.
And you called me an ignorant slut because I disapproved of Terry Ryan.
Yeah. You don't like Terry Ryan, but a lot of people don't.
I do like Terry Ryan. Already.
Well, yeah. I mean, the doubters are the majority. I mean, in this one, they have been for a long time.
Well, it's just Terry Ryan.
Are you still thinking we're sharing a mic?
Ahead.
We're not
go
sharing.
ahead
I mean, just we're not sharing a mic anymore. But so what else was that? Pretty much it then? Peterson and Ryan.
Peterson, Ryan, the Gophers.
Oh, yeah, TCU, you mentioned that. Yeah, okay.
And then you boasting about the SEC and how the Big Ten can never compete
with
the
it was a genius, wasn't it?
SEC.
Well, you know what?
He ran with that one for a few months.
Well, in all honesty, I know that people say, well, what are you thinking now? But Ohio State is, for all intents and purposes, an SEC team playing in the Big Ten. I mean,
because Urban Meyer was in the SEC.
Yes, and he still recruits the same guys he recruited at Florida, the same system. I mean, it is, and in case you haven't noticed, Ohio State it is not There's not a team in the Big Ten that's in their universe, all right? I mean,
No.
so I mean, the difference between the Big Ten and the SEC is still massive. It's just one team from the Big Ten made that leap across the gap. I mean, they went Evel Knievel, but they got to the other side of the Grand Canyon, or the fuck he tried to jump across the Snake River, whatever the hell it was. That was one of the weirdest. I was a kid when that happened. I remember watching that live. We all thought he died. I mean, the parachute came out and he crashed on the near bank. But that man, he's dead now, right?
Yeah.
I was gonna say nothing's gonna kill him, but he's dead now. I mean, so something got him. I don't know what got him, but something got him. But I mean, it's gonna happen.
Wouldn't you have wished that got him? Actually, I mean, if you were him, that one. Didn't he break like everything?
All the
when that happened?
That's urban myth. Nobody's broken every bone in their body.
Well, no, I'm not every bone, but I mean, if you break 4 or 5,
he's broken a zillion.
Contemplating death.
Oh, I mean, he had some accidents. I mean, by the way, it's one of my favorite childhood toys was the Evel Knievel set. I mean, it had the ramp that you cranked. You took the Evel Knievel doll and you put him on action figure, and you put him on the motorcycle, and then you clicked it into that red ramp and you cranked it. And you pulled like the ripcord, and it just took off. And if you were the cool kids, and I had this. I had the Evel Knievel Winnebago, which had a jump ramp that went up, so he could jump his Winnebago.
No
and,
way.
That's
awesome.
It was the bomb. It was the bomb. That was my. He might have been my first action figure. I had
Thank you for not calling it a doll.
I had Evel Knievel. I had an O.J. Simpson action figure, which would have been. I should have hung on to that one.
You should have held on to.
Yeah, I should have. And then I had a bunch of Planet of the Apes stuff. I don't know why. I was just digging Planet of the Apes when I was a kid. I mean, like the original.
Yeah. Oh, obviously.
Oh yeah, I guess. That's,
I don't
I kind of went without saying.
I don't think Wahlberg was in one when you were a kid.
Yeah, it was just kind of a Dubay thing to say. Speaking of Dubay the sayings and moments, I had such a Dubay moment today. Where a Dubay moment is just fucking yourself over, just without thinking, just being dumb. Just not being dumb. It's just being careless and appearing to be dumb. But I was eating some Spanish peanuts, which are nothing more than peanuts with skins. I mean, it's not penis with skins. Peanuts with skins. There's not a circumcision.
Please enunciate.
So I was eating some Spanish peanuts. I'm sitting at what's it called? What's the frickin' Calhoun Square? I'm sitting at Calhoun Square, just stealing free Wi-Fi and eating peanuts. Tell me, what else am I going to do on a Tuesday afternoon? And I'm just kind of chucking these things into my mouth carelessly, and all of a sudden I get a salty skin. A big salty skin in my eye. I mean, I was praying for death. I was begging the Lord to take me. I looked like, I don't know what I looked like. I mean, I'm writhing on the floor, like rubbing with the heel of my left hand because I had salt all over my right hand from eating with my right hand. I mean, and I was basically in tears, asking somebody to just come up and put a bullet behind my ear just to end it, like I'm some fucking horse. I mean,
the shit you've been through.
It was embarrassing.
If the peanut in the eye would have been it.
A peanut skin. Yeah, and it ends it all. I mean, I was pissed. I mean, and then the thing is, I like rubbed it just enough to get it like dislodged, and I felt good about it. And then I sneezed, and it fucking moved. and then I'm like, no, I couldn't believe it that I had to go through this agony twice. But how? I'm not like throwing them up in the air. I'm not doing tricks. I mean, I'm not trying to be. I'm not trying to pick up some. Hey, baby, check this out. Behind the back. I'm just like tossing them into my mouth from like an inch away. I mean, how the fuck? It just doesn't make sense. Yeah.
So money shots to the eye is not a good thing.
But I'll tell you this too. If you go back there right now, if you go back to Calhoun Square, you'll see exactly where I was sitting because there's peanut skins everywhere. I mean,
there's a scene of the crime.
Yeah, they're never gonna let me back in. I mean, but I discovered this yesterday because I spend a lot of time during the day, typically in the library because I just sit around. I watch Netflix. I'm not there researching anything. So don't get curious. I mean, I need Wi-Fi and I need a place to chill. It's quiet and just kill a couple hours before the show. So I'm typically at the library, but that. Fucking Martin Luther King fucks up my library hours yesterday. No, I'm just kidding. I love Dr. King. I love Dr. King. It's a joke. But I mean, I didn't stop and think for a second. The library's not going to be open. So, I adapt. That's what I do. I adapt. I overcome. And so I hung out at Calhoun Square. That's the origin of. And it had that, that's now a rich and deep 2-day history that I have at Calhoun Square.
But wait, so you're trying to blame MLK for the
peanut skin, for the peanut skin,
penis skin,
for the peanut skin. He's not all he's cracked up to be. He's a little slanderer. He got a little something on the side. No, I'm just kidding. I love Martin Luther King.
I don't remember anybody ever cracking him up to be anything other than what he
said.
No,
I loved him. I in all honesty. In the modern era, I don't know that there's anybody in this nation's history that I respect more. I mean, how, as a black man in the 1960s, do you march on cities like Selma in a complete non-violent form and just let people take their shots?
Yes,
and it's genius.
That's ball.
It's genius, but it's gutty genius. I mean, I mean, it eventually caught up to him. You know, it just takes one redneck with a rifle. I mean, it is what it is.
While we're off on a tangent, are you going to go see Selma? Are you interested in that?
I don't ever go to movies. I mean,
No.
I never go to movies. Well, I mean, one thing, you can get them free if you know the right website.
That's
like you can get Selma, you can get American Sniper right now.
I went and sat in the recliners last night for the first time, and
the fancy new theaters. You mean?
Oh
stuff?
yes, and
I'd fall asleep.
It's magnificent.
I'd fall asleep.
I was too into the movie. Birdman captivated
I'd get
me.
too comfortable. I'd rub one out and I'd be just snoozing. It'd be just absolutely sawing logs.
I'll never bring up movies ever again with you. All right.
Well, you know what else?
I mean, actually, you watch movies, you just don't go to them. But okay.
Well, some kind of movies. But the
Porn.
But the other thing is,
Clips. He watches clips.
my
not
life,
movies.
my life in the last few years, it continues to take, these weird turns and these changes. I mean, I was raised on cable, and then I moved on to satellite. And when I moved to Pleasant Avenue in Uptown a couple years ago, a year and a half ago, whatever the hell it was, I didn't want to get, I don't know, I didn't want to spend all the money for cable. I didn't want to do all the installation, I did all the hassle. So it became very clear to me that with the broadcast over the air channels, supplemented with your Netflix and anything you get online, that the cable is obsolete.
Yep.
I mean, you don't have to, unless you have kids. If you have kids, spend $150. You can plant them in front of the TV all afternoon and don't have to be a parent. That's fine. I get it.
You can actually still do it with Netflix, though. I mean, there's
Netflix. I suppose.
I mean, it is better probably to have cable, but you got Channel 2 and you got Netflix.
But as somebody who pretends to be an adult, I mean, I don't need it. I don't need cable. I don't need DirecTV. I don't need Dish. I get good, fast Wi-Fi and some over-the-air channels.
There needs to be a way to get sports, though, and I'll pay a la carte. But I'll pay, though. I don't want to go to a site that I get 50 million pop-ups and I got to clean my computer every week.
Okay, well, do you know anybody who has cable?
I know.
Well, do you know anybody else?
Yes,
of course,
I do.
Of course.
Yes,
then go
so
ask them.
Ask
them for the password to get Watch ESPN and BTN to go.
Yeah.
Then you get Big Ten Network and ESPN.
What about FSN? Do they let you watch them online?
No.
I didn't think so.
No.
So no Twins, no Wild.
Well, but you can buy packages from MLB and NHL, I believe.
That's true, and I have a PlayStation 3, and I can get it right on there.
There you go.
Okay.
So I mean, there's ways.
There are ways to get.
But my point is, I don't watch live television anymore. No. I mean, I never, rarely. I like Sunday afternoons. Football. That's live television. But what's happened in the last 2 years is I've taken Out of Touch to a new level. I mean, like people are talking about movies that I've never heard of because I don't see commercials anymore.
I suppose.
Seriously, I have not listened.
You're on social media a bit, though. Don't you hear about them on there? Or are you not really?
No,
you're not really spending time looking at Facebook, are you? You're more.
Well,
you put something out there.
I put something out there, and then I retweet anything.
And
I retweet stuff and repost stuff from our network.
But otherwise, you're not sitting there just going, "What's trending?"
Yeah, what is Mark Schlorfunkel going to see after dinner tonight? I mean, what time's his dinner reservation? And did he call ahead for dessert just to get the souffle? I don't give a fuck.
Right.
But I mean, I know there's more meaningful things than that happening on Facebook. Just not with people I know. Some of the people I know just don't. No, I'm just kidding. People I know relax. All right. People I know just need to take a step back.
Well, just so you know, there's a bunch of good movies out right now. I mean, there's a ton of good movies out.
Well, yeah.
Gone Girl was awesome. Birdman's awesome.
Everybody's raving about Sniper.
I'm going to go see that tonight.
There's
a lot of good movies out.
I have a hard this is pathetic, but I have a hard time sitting through movies now. My ADD is that bad, or my attention span is just...
Well, they keep getting so long, too.
Yeah, and there's not as much nudity, and you can't... I don't know. I don't know.
Well, that's what you sit in the back row. You bring your phone, so you can have pornography as you're watching the movie.
Anybody doesn't use
you
their
can
phone.
mix and match.
Anybody who does not use their phone for pornography, they're letting technology just slip through their fingers. You're just wasting.
Quite literally.
You're wasting. Well, yeah. But these people have pioneered all these technological advancements, so you can masturbate in the back row of a movie theater with your television. And if you don't do that, you're just doing a disservice to the people who sacrificed and bled to put
the Pee Wee Hermans of the world.
To put Christy Canyon on your cell phone. She's like really, really old. Is she even alive anymore?
Christy Canyon? I don't even think I get your reference.
She's like a golden age of porn star, like a Dirk Diggler era.
Oh, okay.
If Dirk Diggler was a real person. I mean, she's like 70s, 80s.
Yeah.
Cocaine porn.
The glamour.
I tell you what, I dig 80s porn because I can just imagine how coked up all the women are. It really turns me on.
Wait, just the women?
Well, I don't care about coked up guys.
Well, but I'm saying, I'm just thinking you're thinking only they're doing coke and all the guys are staying on the side.
No, I'm just saying I only care about the women. I'm focusing on the women.
I hope so.
Well,
I guess I don't hope so.
Well, I mean,
too much fur.
Well, I don't know. I'm not proud of this, but I mean, I went down the wrong road for a couple of years, and I've seen what that kind of stuff. people do coke or crack or meth, and I mean, they're naked in a pile in 2 minutes. I mean, it is what it is. So I mean, I promise you, the 1980s porn sets were just. I mean, you could just sweep it up off the floor at the end of the day. I mean, come on. I mean, that stuff is fueled by cocaine. It's got to be.
I'm sure. I have no doubt. Oh
I mean, it's doubtful that it was fueled by crack because that usually have a bunch of paranoid people just like sit. The movies would be terrible. They'd just be like looking out windows and it'd be just absolutely awful. I got another little anecdote. There's no rhyme or reason to this. By the way, you know what? I'm going to tease this anecdote because it's a golden anecdote. Happened to me yesterday, and I did on my birthday of all days. The guy didn't know it was my birthday, but he was an asshole anyway. But I got an asshole story coming up, and I'm not in the role of asshole this time. I'm the victim.
Hi, I'm Terry Daniel, and I've been a voice actor in Minneapolis for over 2 decades now. How often are you getting compliments on your voice? Now is the time to do something about it. If you're interested in getting into voiceovers, please contact me via my website at universalvoicetalent.com.
Okay, last year, 2013, I lived just down the road, Pleasant Avenue, just a few blocks here from Uptown Pond, which is right on the corner of Lake and Pleasant. And, there are a couple of times, you just try to get to that next payday, maybe a couple of bucks short. If you've got some items, jewelry, diamonds, electronics, I mean, you come down here and they give you a fair price for it, and then you come back a week later, 2 weeks later, whatever, you get it back at a real reasonable price.
So we're very competitive, we hope, on different angles, in different ends and different articles. Computers, electronics, TVs, jewelry. We buy, we give loans, and we also have emphasis on diamond jewelry too, that we also try and give credit for the best we can. We're specialists in that area also, so it's an all-round sort of combination.
Well, it's a great place. It's a nice, clean place with honest people, and I tell you what, it's got a real family feel to it. As a matter of fact, it's tied into Strauss family, and I go way back with the late, great Jerry. So, I mean, these are people I know and people I trust. You can find them on Twitter, too, by the way. They're at Uptown Pond, and also on Facebook, Uptown Pond and uptownpond.net. I love Dire Straits. They're one of my five favorite bands. Absolutely one of my 5 favorite bands. When I started working at Down the Valley, people kept asking, just randomly, because I think we get bored. We started talking like top 5 bands, top 5 albums. I mean, Dire Straits is on every one of my lists. Everyone. And I think, personally, for me, it's always sad when it happens, but it does happen. Their first album was their best. I mean, Pearl Jam was their best, too. I mean, their first album was their best.
What is Dire Straits' first album?
It's just self-titled. It's, with Sultans of Swing.
Yep.
Awesome song.
Yeah, that whole album. Well, that whole album has got the first 2 albums are very, very similar style. That really crisp, clean sound that Knopfler has, with the real stripped down, group behind him, just real basic and clean. And after those first 2 albums, they had big lineup changes and went off in some other directions. But they were still good. I mean, Making Movies was good, and Brothers in Arms was good. I mean, I saw Knopfler a couple of years ago at one of the theaters, downtown, whatever, the Orphe State, the State Freedom, whatever, the Pantage Orphe, whatever.
Combining it.
But anyway, I was really kind of bummed because I mean he's a virtuoso. I mean he's one of the most amazing guitar players to ever live, and to watch him, you could watch him with the sound muted, and it would still be cool. Cause he kind of picks it, not like a banjo, but with his forefinger and his thumb. And he can just wail when he wants to, but he doesn't. I mean, it's like he just kind of he just waits for everybody to keep up with him. It's not it's not about him, But the night that I saw him, he kind of mailed it in. He hardly even sang. I mean, he just kind of talked through the songs. And
I hate shows like that.
Yeah,
when you can tell they're not, and you
can't blame
him sometimes.
Yeah, he's done 1,000 of these. Yeah. It's just people are yelling, "Sultans of Swing!" Taking care of business. I mean, just him, idiot in the back. I mean, you got to get sick of that, don't you?
Oh God, yeah. I mean, but you're earning your keep, so you deal with it.
Right. But I mean, but again, he's entitled to mail one in once. I mean, I do fucking mail these in all the time. and I've got no credibility banked up.
Well, I saw Alabama Shakes like last summer or 2 summers ago, and they're a brand new band, and it was their last show of their tour, and they mailed it in, and you could tell. It's like
last shows are always.
I know. When I found out it was the last show, I went, oh.
At the end of a tour, you're lucky if you're not dead. So that's
that's true.
I mean, I don't know. It's something that I came to appreciate during my addiction. Maybe that was the whole reason for my addiction, was so I could appreciate rock bands, because it just dawned on me that like watching a Motley Crue behind the music. Like when I was in the middle of my addiction, I'm thinking, I mean, how do these people have anything they want, as much as they want, anytime they want it, without limits, and not die every week? There shouldn't be any rock bands in the world anymore. I mean, I don't know how any of them live.
How's Keith Richards still alive?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's just. I guess if you do enough drugs, you get good at it. I mean,
professional drug doers, I guess.
Yeah, apparently. But I mean, to have the resources that these people have, and I mean, you don't get more decadent than Motley Crue on the road in the 80s. No. I mean, they couldn't go to McDonald's or fucking the girl behind the counter. I mean, there was this they shot like Jack Daniels in fucking IVs because they ran out of drugs. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, they would like die and wake up the next morning with bloody arms and needles in their arms, like they played lawn darts with each other or something. I mean, these people were as decadent as they could possibly, and not one of them died. No, not one. And I'm not begging for them to die either. But I mean, I'm not asking for.
Why won't they die?
Well, I mean, I'm not asking for. I mean, they're a terrible, god awful band. They contributed nothing but bad hairdos to our society. And although I did when I was in Atlanta for the World Series, I went to Tattletales, which is featured in Girls.
Oh, okay.
So, that's my claim to fame.
So that's what
I saw strippers at Motley Crue guys fucked. Tommy Lee, fuck you. That's why you're walking funny.
Oh, that's a claim to fame.
Anyway,
if there ever was one, yeah.
But, I told you I had an anecdote about an asshole.
Sorry.
Well, it's not you.
Yet. That's tomorrow's show.
And you know what? I don't know how to completely go on this because people have become very, very protective of their trash receptacles. But in Minneapolis, isn't it part of the city? I mean, you're not paying a company. Is it part of your
you're paying
taxes?
The city. But
well, yeah, it's part of your taxes. I mean, it's
right.
It's not like
not many have private trash pickup.
Right. But I mean, I'm walking here. I was walking here from Calhoun Square, as I mentioned earlier. It's Hennepin, and we're up on. We're by Nicollet. We're near Nicollet. So anyway, it was a fairly long walk. As a matter of fact, I refer to it as a 4 Tootsie Popper. So that meant
That's how you're measuring them.
So here's what I had. I had 4 wrappers and 4 sticks that I was not going to litter the streets of Minneapolis with. It happened to be trash day. I mean, there's receptacles out the whole way down.
Yep. At the end of the driveways, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I throw a couple, little sticks in the little wrappers into the garbage. Guy blows up. He doesn't blow up. He's like, hey, that's private. I'm like, I mean, come on. You've put it out for the week, so you've got nothing else to add to it. The space in there that is unused space. I put in 4 sticks. Would you prefer they wound up in your front yard? Because that's what people will do if you don't let them. But I've had this happen to me before. It's not the first time. And I had people talk me down like I was wrong to be upset. Like, those people pay money to get trash hauled off, and you can't just dump shit. But once front thing, they're not paying money here in Minneapolis. Like you said, it's part of the taxes. But even if you paid per dumpster, once you've put it on the curb, it's gone. You don't need. I mean, you've used all the space you can use.
Unless
you're
throwing in a fucking love seat.
Yes.
And they thought they might have another bag they want to throw in there before.
Yeah.
What the hell difference does it make?
And I'm walking away thinking, this guy, he's got the fucking life. Because he's got it good.
This is what he wants to bitch
about.
Yeah,
he's got nothing to complain about, but the unused space in his dumpster being used by 4 Tootsie Pop sticks. I mean, in the old days, they might have been syringes. What do you got, buddy? At least this time they're popsicle sticks.
See, the first thing that crossed my mind, maybe it's all these movies I've been watching, but it was what is he hiding in his garbage? Why does he not want a guy walking down the street looking in his garbage? I don't like it.
But I didn't even look. I'm not nosy.
Well, but that's what I mean. What is he? What else is he? You're literally throwing in a handful of garbage.
I don't know that if he saw what I put into it, and I think that he's one of these guys who's just so bored. I'm not going to call him principled. He's just so bored that he's got to be a dick about something so he feels alive.
Type.
Yeah, you got to get riled about something just to feel alive once in a while because you fucking hate your wife. You got a shitty job. Your dog shits in the house. So I'm going to go get pissed at some guy for nothing so I feel alive for a second. Get my heart to race.
Or maybe he's a butthurt Packer fan that's still
That might be.
off.
Ooh, I like that angle.
That might. Well, that's the same thing. So yeah, it's the same thing. I mean, that's what I think I just described GURPS. I mean, it's the same thing.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. So I just. For one thing, my perspectives have changed, and it doesn't mean that they're right or wrong. But I have no. I don't want to say I have no time for the small stuff, but But I've learned that if I'm not going to die, if I'm not going to relapse or disappear or just be a complete waste of flesh, that I have to take a big picture approach. I can't sweat details. I can't sweat small stuff. And sometimes small stuff isn't that small. And I just have to brush it off. Just if I get bogged down by details, I can get overwhelmed and just freak out. And who knows where that leads? I mean, I don't think it leads anywhere. But my point is, I cannot understand anybody who gets riled up about. I see people get mad about the dumbest shit. And I'm not saying that I've got it figured out or I've got the key to happiness. But if it's not going to matter to anything in the long run, I mean, there's so many. I mean, you've seen people get just bent out of shape about stupid shit, haven't you?
Constantly.
Like an 1/8 of a cent sale tax. Are you fucking kidding me? Relax. If we would have told you, you would have never known. What's an 1/8 of a cent? I'll give you $100 right now to cover you for the rest of your life, and your kids too. An 1/8 of a cent. I mean,
I'm trying to think of another.
We got people going apeshit because birds are going to fly into a fucking $1 billion stadium.
God.
Who gives a fuck? They're birds and they're dumb birds. They're not just. I mean, they're not. These are. I mean,
well,
the dodo went away for a reason. These could too. It's all Darwin. Just go read Darwin.
What you're saying is we all just have it too good. That basically humanity has it too good, and that we are always looking for something to bitch about because we have our basic needs met.
Well, you know what?
Especially with all the pornography.
There's a lot of truth to that because no matter how much your circumstance in life changes and the things that surround you change, I don't know that your level of pleasure or angst go that much higher. Just the things you care about that pleasure you or that anger you change. I mean, like you mean
the spectrum of the actual emotion doesn't change though. It's just what causes the emotion that changes.
Well, yeah, I mean, because that goes up and down that scale. And
sure.
It's so like no matter how good somebody's got it, he's bitching about something. Right. He's bitching about,
right. Everyone wants more.
Yeah, that fucking rust coating on my fucking Mercedes. What the fuck? You know? I mean,
or whenever you see that super hot chick, you always go, well, there's some guy that's sick of fucking her.
There's some guy sick of fucking her. It's the
exact
exact same thing. You know what? Yeah, it is. It is the exact same thing. Right? So it's like no matter how, whatever end of any economic spectrum or socioeconomic spectrum, the high end, low end, middle, whatever, no matter who you are going to bitch as much as the guy who's a couple grades above you or below you. You're gonna bitch as much as him, and you're gonna be about as happy as him. You're just gonna bitch about different things. I mean, I might not take as many simple pleasures as I used to, but I don't get pissed off about small things anymore as much as I used to. I mean, except for shit like this. but that's just for the show. That's all just a bit. But I don't know. I just thought to myself, what the fuck is this guy's really got nothing at all going on if he's going to care about something like this.
But in a way, aren't you a little jealous of him too then? Because if his life is so good,
but
he's bitching about you throwing a couple of Tootsie Pops.
But here's another philosophy. Maybe this flies in the face of the other one. But when I have to deal with somebody like that. We're all confronted with people that we just want to fucking just say, go fuck yourself. I mean, what is wrong with you? We all deal with people that just fucking either screw us over, lie to us, treat us like shit, whatever, no respect, whatever. And you think to yourself, what the fuck do I have to deal with this? And I say to myself, be glad you're not him. You'd rather deal with him than be him.
Yes. I guess.
I know sometimes people get a little too victim-y. Maybe I do too sometimes. But like, there's some people who are like really nice, and they give the benefit of the doubt, and they get taken advantage of over and over and over. And then they go, oh, why am I always the nice guy? I mean, it makes me want to fucking slap them to begin with. But when they keep saying that, I just finally stop and say, would you rather be the nice guy who gets fucked over, or would you rather be the fucking asshole your whole life?
Okay, see, and I've usually been the nice guy. So let me tell you a quick little story because I talked about this on the pubcast, and I want to get your opinion on it because I was in the real quick.
No, take your time, dude. I got nothing.
It was basically, I think it was on the way here one day.
Yeah.
It was one of those first nice days in a while. Went to wash my car, and long line. I mean, literally would have taken a half an hour to get through this car wash line, so I said screw it, came back. So came here, did the show, went back to the same gas station, pull up, it's at night, there's no cars, but there's this one, and it's right in front of the the little thing where you pay or you put in your number, and the car, it's a Beamer, and it's off, and there's nobody in it.
And it's blocking the entrance.
And it's right where you would pay. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, did somebody... And so my first thought, because I'm maybe an asshole, is this guy was like, I'm not letting anybody get in front of me. I'm going to run to the car wash, park, go get my car wash, and then come back. So
That's bullshit.
Right? But this is just what I'm thinking. I don't know any facts. This is just what I assume. So I sit there. I'm like, fuck it. I'll come back tomorrow. And I go to pull out, but I pull out slowly because I'm going to watch and just see if I see somebody walk around the corner. Mm-hmm. He does. I whip back around the gas station, pull back in line, and as he gets to his car, I just go, hey, man, thanks for fucking blocking that. And he takes like 4 steps, like kind of charges at my car.
Could you have taken him?
Well, obviously, or I wouldn't have said anything.
Okay.
I mean, and I'm not saying that because I'm tough. I'm just saying he obviously
dude,
wasn't a big guy.
You weigh 80 pounds.
Right. Soaking wet. But so I was.
I've never seen you soaking wet. I have no idea what you would weigh.
He comes at me and he's like, "Fuck you, man! My fucking code didn't work, man. Fuck you."
Oh, so you were a dick, man.
Right. But again, from my perspective, I'm not a dick at all. He's a complete asshole. But that got turned.
You're both fucked up
so quickly. Yes.
There's no good guy in the story. This is
okay. Thank you. Thank you. So
this is Al Qaeda versus ISIS.
Both are in the wrong.
There's no side. There's no side to get on here. It's kind of almost like Packers Seahawks, to be honest with you. There's no
hard to root for either one of us.
Yeah, there's no side to get.
But no, I would have been on your side too because you're just waiting there. It's like, what the fuck is going on? Why aren't you moving? So, but then you learn why. Then it's like, oh, I'm a fucking asshole.
And I didn't say anything else either. I'm just like, oh. But I was like, wow, did you really need to go off? If I'm him, I would just be like, hey, settle down. Code didn't work.
Right.
But he freaked out, and I seriously, I thought he was going to come at me. I'm like, Jesus Christ, we're talking about a car wash here. But wouldn't you have also pulled out? Like, wow.
But
wouldn't you?
Well, I tried that, and I still have 3 kids, so that don't work.
I had softball.
You walked right into that
one. Not only softball, but
I'm not even going to ask the question.
People don't know Darryl personally or sit next to him. It just was gross, is what it was. I don't want to picture anything. I just get it. That just couldn't get this out of my head right now. Jesus Christ.
That's all.
Hey, by the way,
got to add right now.
We were talking about movies. And again, this just shows how out of touch I am with pop culture and shit. What is everybody bitching about American Sniper? What was it? What's all the uproar about?
I've read that the guy actually was kind of racist and wasn't necessarily a guy you really want your kids to, hold up as a role model. But I swear, I think I read that like at the Huffington Post, and that was the only place I saw it. So I mean,
I tell you what,
it's going to depend on your bias to begin with. I think.
I'm reading this out of USA Today right now. Sarah Palin joined the fray, taking to Facebook. She denounced, quote, Hollywood leftists such as filmmaker Michael Moore, who have criticized the film as pro-war and pro-sniper. And if that's true, all I can say is, fuck you, Michael Moore. Like your movies don't have a fucking point of view. You're not leaning one way or the other.
Right,
other people can't make a movie that is pro or against something. I mean, are you the only one who could be a fucking opinionated asshole? You fat pig with a fucking windbreaker. I hate Michael Moore. I think Michael Moore's a douche. I don't care if he's a talented movie maker.
No, he makes really good movies if you agree with his politics.
But yeah, I mean, it's like Oliver Stone. It's like fucking, you know what? Relax, Oliver Stone. It's not that bad. All right. I mean, JFK was. It was an entertaining movie, but you know how many people took that
as gospel?
And it was ridiculous. I think it's like the most absurd. I mean, if Oliver Stone really believes that any of that factors into reality, then he is one of the most delusional human beings.
Yeah, no, he is kind of insane, isn't
but
he?
I mean, I don't know. But I think he basically knew that there were a million conspiracy theories, and he just tried to interweave as many of them as he could.
Yeah, and he made the most complicated, almost boring movie.
But here's what he did, though. He interspersed like real, like newsreel stuff with movie stuff, so it made people think it was real, and that's kind of deceitful. You son of a Hollywood! I mean, how can people take Hollywood seriously? I mean, you just gotta take everything with a grain of salt.
But what do you think of with the stuff with the cartoons in France and everything? What do you think of
cartoons in France?
Being that they blew
satirists.
up a satirical magazine because of propaganda against the prophet and all of that. What do you think of a guy who supposedly killed over 200 people with his as a sniper? And is in a world where we look bad enough to people who don't agree with us, do we need a rah go America go film right now?
Yeah, well, it's America. You can make whatever kind of movie you want.
But no, I'm just saying. I feel like everybody in this country is so sick of war. I'm actually surprised that this movie is being as popular as it is, and it must be really well done. I mean, it's Clint Eastwood. So.
It's not needed. But it gives all the sheep something to rile up around and gather up together.
Yeah, they don't make a movie because it's needed. I mean,
no, but it helps
you can
all
make it for
sheep.
propaganda.
And I mean, and I'm not concerned about the glorification of somebody who killed 200 people. He's in a war. I mean, that's what he's supposed to do. I mean, are you gonna vilify the guy who pushed the button from the Enola Gay over fucking Hiroshima? I mean, give me a break.
No, but I'm just
kill
saying,
people in wars.
I'm just saying we don't necessarily want to hold them up as heroes.
Whatever. I was trying to give you a little history.
And I think,
something like that. Whatever.
I think that too. I think that maybe there may have been. I mean, for instance, even in the trailer, the Bradley Cooper character says, when I meet my maker, I will be able to. I can man up for every shot I took or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so isn't that already saying that there's questions about shots he took? So I'm just saying maybe there's a lot to this story that I bet this movie doesn't tell.
We've been viewing military as heroes for quite some time.
What was that?
The sniper.
Did you just hit the...
I didn't touch anything. Oh, maybe I did. I don't know.
Everything?
Yeah, I heard it.